Hey Bunnies, it's Louise here with my 11th Project Life video. Today I'm working on week 8 of 2015 and I also have a little giveaway at the very beginning of the video, so stay tuned and I hope you like it. So first things first, I'm doing a tiny little giveaway to celebrate having 10 subscribers, which isn't very much, but I'm really pleased and I'm really grateful to everyone who subscribes because it makes me feel like there's an audience for what I'm putting out there. So when I placed an order a couple of weeks ago, I ordered 2 of this transparent sticker book. Here's my copy so you can see what there is in it. So there's loads of really cool sentiments: believe in yourself, I'm in love, my life right now, practically perfect. So there's lots of sentiments in here and this nice alphabet. So lots of really lovely stickers. So I thought the easiest way to do this giveaway would be if you went to Facebook and liked the Welsh Bunnies page. So if you go over there and click on like, and then everyone who does that, by the next video I will randomly pick one of the people who like the Facebook page and send them this 6-page transparent sticker book, which I really love for Project Life. And the reason I did the giveaway is I just like giveaways myself. I've entered a few, but I've never won any on various blogs. But if you like the look of that sticker book, I would suggest entering because I don't have that many viewers yet, so I think probably not many people will be entering, so you'd have a good chance of winning the sticker book if you join in, I think. So I'm actually scrapbooking week 9 of 2015 in this video, and I've got these pictures, but I've also got this piece of ephemera. So I've got this little sticker which I might sort of tuck in behind something else. So I may or may not use this little sticker, but this is a leaflet from the place where we stayed, which was called Centre Parks, and it's a European British thing where you stay in a lodge and there are lots of outdoor activities like adventure playgrounds, and you can do horse riding or a bit of rock climbing on one of those climbing walls and all that kind of thing, and it's set in a forest and it's really, really nice, and we've been a couple of times. And I wanted to use my trimmer to trim a 3x4 card with this little Centre Parks logo in the bottom right hand corner. And so knowing that I'm going to be using this as a card, this informed my choice of what my colours are going to be this week. And this week my colours are brown, green, red and orange. And so I went to my scrap baskets and I got out various things. Now this is some pieces of wrapping paper. It's lovely craft coloured wrapping paper with these lovely flowers on. I've actually used bits of this for scrapbooking before I use it to make an album, and it's the exact colours that I want: the green and the reddy orange and the brown. So I'm probably going to be cutting out some flowers and using them for embellishments, and possibly cutting out a 3x4 or 6x4 piece of this. Then I've just got some oranges, reds and greens and browns in all different sizes and patterns. And I went to my 6x4 stash of cards and I grabbed some dark green and a couple of reds, a couple of browns and a few oranges, and then some red and orange 6x4s. Now when I go to my 3x4 collection, I don't grab every single card that could work. I just grab a few bits and bobs because I don't need to exhaustively look at every single card that might work. I just grab a few cards that I think will work for that week. So then I have less to worry about, less choice when I'm going through doing the work, because sometimes too much choice can be overwhelming and you end up spending a lot of time having to decide, on what you might or might not like. So as I always do, I'm going to pop this aside and decide where these pictures are going to go. So I've got a nice picture of all of us who are on the holiday together up there, and I have 2 collages of this week. Might put those there and there, and here are my 6x4s. I've left a lot of space on this picture for journaling at the bottom because there's a story. associated with that picture. Put this on here and that one there. And then I know that these, I printed out 2 sets of. Now looking at this, I don't want these 2 to be on the same line, so I want one of these to go up here. So I'll pop this picture down here, pop those there. So now these are on opposite sides and opposite alignments, and I quite like how that looks. So this is how I'm going to arrange my photos right now. Now the first thing I know I want to do is I want to make a week page, and I'll probably be putting it up here. And I want to use this die, which I've never used before, which is a lovely tree lined hill die. So I'm going to be cutting out, and I'm probably going to use a patterned piece on this, something like, I'll use this piece since it's just a hand and it's the right size, and then put this on maybe an orange or a red background, and then do the week lettering. So first things first, I'm probably going to cut this out of this, and maybe also this as well, this dark green with this, and I'll come back and we can start working on the title card of the week with these cut out pieces. The tree line on a brown piece and on a green piece. Now the process I went through to decide which 6x4 card to put this on. So I tried it on here, but I felt that, well, I'm intending to use this card as a background piece to cover up this label, and this wasn't enough. But also this pink, this red looks too pink to me. And then I tried it on this red, which is a nice deep red. But then I felt like the hexagon pattern was too strong, and that really the card I wanted to be accentuating the tree line, and this pattern detracts from it. Then I tried this orange card that I had, but that looked too plain, and so I had a scrap of paper, and I cut out a 6x4 and curved the edges of this lovely orange, and that is just what I wanted. So the contrast between the orange and the green is really nice, and this pattern is not so bold that it's really distracting from here. So I'm going to stick this down, and first off I just want to make sure that where I stick the green, the green needs to be maybe about 1 centimetre or 1.5 centimetres from the bottom of the card, like this. And then this one can just lie flat along the bottom. This down. There we go. There we go. And now I can just trim off the excess with my scissors. There we go. Just trim off each side. Now I picked out this Vickers alphabet, and I've had these for a while. I'm gonna say a year or even 2 years for these tile thickers. I think these are the only tile thickers I have, because I think it ended up being a style of large tile that I'm not that fond of. I do use tile stickers, but only in a smaller format, so these big tile thickers are not my favourite. But I'm going to write the title on this because it's a lovely matte fill of colours, and this is week 9. And I'm going to start going from the back forward. It's going to look good. This would be a good use for these tiles. There we go. There we are. Just line these up nicely. There we go. They're really adhesive. That's one of the good things about these ones. They really adhere nicely. And I'm going to just grab this, and this is if I have a look, I think both of the dates will fit on there, and this is March, February the 23rd to March the 1st. Now I'm just going to stick this in black, no, I'm just going to stamp this in black ink along here, and it won't come out, I think, super. It's going to be a subtle difference between the brown of the background and the black of the stamping, but that's fine. It's just a little detail that I put on every week card, is this little stamp, and it's there if I particularly want to know what the dates were. I can look and find it, and then just do a little dash in between, so that it's 23rd to March, and that's where I'm going to call this card finished. And I think it looks really, really sweet, and it is a good card for the week that it's representing. The next thing I wanted to do was, put this to the side, is grab this, the centre parts leaflet that I'm going to be grabbing things on. So what I'm going to do is to cut the 3x4 card out. I'm going to do what I sometimes do, and this is the Lawn Fawn stitch journaling card. So this is a 3x4 die cut with stitching around the edges, and I'll just throw away the rest of it and grab my Sizzix Big Shot. And so I do this with sometimes birthday cards or other pieces of ephemera, and I can just put this exactly where I want it, like that. Now this what's new, there's no way to avoid that. I was hoping that this piece could be just straight into the album, but it's catching a little bit of wording up here, so I'm probably going to grab a flower, something like this, and just pop it in the corner to cover up the wording. But I'll just slide this through first off. So just sandwich it in there and put it through, and then let's remove this. It's a really lovely effect, the little stitching on the outside. You can just see that there. And so yeah, so it's got hats new on there. So I will grab a flower from here and stick it in the corner. Maybe a green one to accentuate the green, because there's not a lot of green in there. So I'll do this first, just to finish up this card. So if I just quickly cut out this flower from this, and as I said, this is wrapping paper actually, and just put that in the corner. Actually, that looks a little bit not quite what I'm going for, so instead I'll quickly cut out this in its place. Oops, just struggling with these scissors. So this is the sort of thing that I'll do often, just quickly cutting out an embellishment to fix an imperfection, because sometimes the ephemera we want to use, it doesn't quite fit, or it's not quite right. See, that's much better for what I want. And I might even grab this this green leaf as well and stick it in behind. So there are lots of times where you just want to find a little bit of something to cover up something in a photograph, where like some stranger is in a photograph, like somebody's walked into the nice picture that you've got, or where you spill something like, oh no, I spilled ink on my spilled ink on my page, and that's like there, that looks nice, just a little bit of extra detail. So I'm going to glue these down, and I'll use my just decide where I want this to go. I'll just stick this down and not fully stick it down until I put the other one on. So I can tuck it underneath. There we go. And I want it to be quite a lot. There we go. And then stick the little leaf in behind. There we go. There we go. And now I'll stick a little bit of glue on just here. You see where I didn't have glue before. And now stick this all down. And once again, just quickly trim off the excess around the edge. And then that's where this card is finished. And I think that'll look nice actually. Having these elements will mean that when I grab some more from this scrap of paper to use as embellishments, it will match more cohesively with the rest of the page because they'll already be on the page. So I can call this piece done. And what I'm going to do next is I have these 3 small stitch labels that I've just bought. And they're just the right size for Project Life. And I'm going to run them through with a brown, a green and an orange. And I'm not sure if I'll use the brown to journal on directly or if I'll just use it as a layer to you know, slide in behind something else. But I can journal onto them with the white pen if I decide that I want to have some journaling on these orange cards. But I'm going to run these 3 dies through each of these 3 colours. And then I'm going to bring back my board and have a look at what else I want to do with the cards. So I cut out one of each of all the labels in this dark green and then a sort of milder green, an orange and a brown. Now here's the 3x4 card and the title card. So now I'm looking at this and I think I really want to add in more red because there's not enough red yet. So I think I'm going to grab this piece that I decided wasn't appropriate for the title card and I can pop it in here and that'll look really good. And I think maybe a nice bright orange one in there, and maybe with like the background of this brown label and maybe a little green flower on there or something, a little green embellishment on there. We'll finish that up nicely. And then I want to do some journaling on here, so that's a nice bit of journaling on there, and I'll try and layer that up with some other pieces. And then I'm quite happy with this one. This one's nice. I think this is a great place to just grab one of the stickers from I just grab this sticker, and this is from the set that's in the giveaway. Because this is a great place just to put a little, because I do love this. So cute, her playing on this little wooden tractor at the play park. And well, so this needs to be anchored on a piece of brown card, I think. I think brown would look good here. So I'm going to grab this brown scrap that I have and use it on here. It's especially good because it's a wood grain print, so it's very thematic for this week. So I'll just grab my trimmer and trim off the labeling strip. There we go. And cut this out. Sometimes I'll keep the labeling strip and sometimes I won't, just depends on how prudent I feel in a given moment. There we go, so that's nice. And I think I probably want some orange on this card in some way, so I might mat that onto orange to bring out some more orange in that card. So what I'm left with here is a nice big gap there and a nice gap here. Now looking at how it's coming out, I might want to use this label layered here, or maybe up here actually. I think it might look better. So I know that looking at this picture, I left an inch at the top so I could trim this down. I'm just wondering if I'm not really I'm not really happy with having a card that says kinda amazing and then a picture of me on here. So if I put this, I'm happy to move these things around. So I could put that there, and then put this here, and I'll just free form now. If I were to put that there, this might look good on a red background. So I'll see what red cards I've got. I've got this red polka dot and this red other polka dot. Actually, they're both polka dots today. Let's see what I think looks good. The polka dot, that small polka dot looks quite good. And I think, yeah, I think this polka dot looks good. And I think some red, often I go with like how the colours seem to me like, so I'd like some red up here, so I'll probably try and put some red on this card. I want some orange down here. I would need more brown overall. So that's often how I choose what colours fill in the last gaps, by knowing what I've picked, what the colour scheme is, orange, red, green and brown, and seeing what feels a little bit light in terms of colour. But I've got a nice big bit of brown, orange, red. This is, although it's not a lot of green so far on the layouts, this is a really deep green. It's just a bit here and here. So even just a little bit here is probably enough to just make it obvious that, you know, to use it as a nice accent colour. So first things first, I'm gonna take these 3 cards away because I know what I want to do with them, and I'll grab this one as well. And I can just pop this, whoops, to the side. So these are the cards I'm going to be working on. So let's just lay them out. So let's grab my trimmer and take an inch off so that this is now a 3x3 square. Just what I knew I wanted to do with this picture and why I left such a large area of blank space at the beginning. Now if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to want to trim the edges with my corner chomper, and this definitely looks like a card where I'm going to want to mat it onto either white or possibly a dark brown. Actually, if I have a quick look in my scraps just to the side here and bring out this brown, a very small amount of brown around the edge, might look nice. And then if I ink that up, it'll look even better. The contrast with the red and the brown. I think I might like a darker brown than this, because this is a mid brown and this is quite a dark brown. That would be a nicer contrast to my eye. So I'm going to grab some dark brown and mat this up. So here's the red card. Here's the this photo. Now I've matted it in brown, and now I will stick down like this. There we go. And I think I'm going to grab this flower and put this here, and then I want a sentiment to be going parallel to this line here. And I probably want it to be an orange sentiment to bring in the last colour of the layout. So I could just use a little date on here. Here's it so very special, this orange. It's not quite the bright orange that I was hoping for. So I'll keep looking to see what I have in my collection. So here's some other orange ones. Sensitive, Bad Boy. Well, that's not really very. Here's Vacation. Okay, so that's. I think I'll keep Vacation there and see if there's anything else that pops out. Here's a Take Note. I'm just quickly shuffling through the rest of my supplies. Oh, here's some other possibilities. Sometimes I've got a good idea what I'm trying to place my hands on in my collection. Other times I'm just rifling through all of the bits to see what I have. Okay, so I think that's... I've had a good old look through there and I've come out with several possibilities. So I could do Vacation, I could do Take Note, but I think this Take Note is too red, so I'll discard that one as a possibility. And now it's between... This is a nice bright orange, it matches the orange of the labels that I'm using. And I've used a lot of these, so What a Wonderful Day might work nicely. Now I said I was going to do it parallel with the bottom line, but I might just have it overlapping with the matte. So it's like this, and then peel it up, because I'm going to want to be putting this green peak of flower underneath, and then see how I think that looks. I think that looks nice. I'm not 100% sure about it, so I will think on it. I think what might be the problem for me is that there's no red on either of the edges, so there's just red at the top and the bottom, because this middle picture is too wide. But I'm going to trim off the edges and see if I still think that. And sometimes when I notice something that I'm not quite pleased with in a layout, I can change it. Other times I'm just more like taking note for the next time I do a layout. So I might not print out a photograph that I'm intending to put on a 3x4 card this big, because I know that when I stick it on the card, it's not quite how I want it to look. It looks nice. It's not my favourite card, but I think in future I probably won't be printing out a card that will be 3x3, because then there's no border on the outside edges. So if I was to print these photographs again, I would print this one maybe to be a 2.5 by 2.5 photo rather than a 3x3. But that still looks nice, and it's a lovely little picture of my two girls, and I'm in there as well, I suppose. Right, so I'll pop these sentiments out of the way, those label stickers, and I'll grab this one. So straight off the bat, I'm going to cut this down to a 6x4 and use my corner chomper on the edges. So I can just do that really quick, I don't have to think about that. And now I'm going to be deciding if I want to matte these pictures or not. And if I was, what I would be matting them in. There's such sweet pictures of my little pumpkins in their swimming costumes. Now I know I'm going to be journaling on. I know I'm going to be doing journaling on this side, so I'm quite happy to put the pictures on this side, knowing that there's going to be detail on this side. So I just layer that up, see how I think it looks. I don't want to obscure the little Hello Kitty in her dress. There we go. And I had a little bit of flour, but I think I used it on something else. So I'm just going to grab this sheet of paper and pick out another dark green flower to go on there. So I've grabbed this green flower. Now I'll just cut this out quickly, and then I can start sticking these down. Now I haven't rounded the corners on these photographs because I think it looks nice so that the corners being rounded. And so whether I do or don't round the corners on an embellishment, it just depends on what feels right at the time. Very much play it by ear. So here's this. And with this one I did print them small, so this isn't a 3x4 photograph. This is probably like a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch off of each of those, so I can fit them both on here, and there's still room around the whole edge. I think I want to put this one underneath. Do it like this. Just decide. Whoops. Starting quite flighty. There we go. That's more how. So just a little peek in there. Right. So let's stick these down. Put these labels down. And I want that one to be about there. And I think this is just going to be a very small peak of the flower, and probably not that much of the brown either. There these. And a little bit of the flower in the corner. And I'll save this scrap and see if there's anywhere else where I think a little green flower would look nice. There we go. I'm going to trim this down and see if I like how it looks, because I might want to lift off the flower if I feel like I haven't left myself enough journaling space. No, that's nice. I'll can just journal it in there. There we go. Now looking at this one, it feels like all these colours are a bit too matchy actually. I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to make this lift, and I think the answer in this case is probably to grab some plain white gems. So normally I would grab a colour that matched, but in this case I'm just going to grab some plain white ones. Oh, here's some, no, not stars. So I whiz through my collection until I find what I'm looking for. There we go. Some plain white gems. And this will just lift this out. At the moment it's looking quite flat and sort of plain, I think. So if I just, and even just that little, it just lifts it slightly. I think otherwise it was looking too flat, not enough oomph, and just a few gems I think makes this seem less flat. So I will do journaling on there, but I'll just do that at the end. Oh, and I've grabbed a little gem. Since I've got this little gem, I'll stick it there on here because it's a little heart-shaped gem. There we go. And it just happened to get caught on me, so I'll if I can stick it down, it's way happier being stuck to me than it is stuck to the page. There you go, stick it down. Okay, and there's just a little bit of bling on that card now. So other than the journaling, I'll call that one done. Now this one just needs a little bit of journaling, but I don't want this label to be floating here, so I'll just quickly trim off a 1/2 an inch, 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Now I was thinking I'll just trim off this this edge, but actually I think it might look quite nice if I just leave it. So I'm going to quickly snip it and give it a banner end. And then if I tuck this under here, there we go. I think that looks nice. And maybe if I have just a hint of green in behind there. Maybe if I move this quite a lot further along. And I'm just sort of using these labels for layering. No, I don't think I can use this one as a layer, because these are too straight and this one's too oval to work in that way. But I could grab this other straight ticket, and we're just looking for just the tiniest hint of it in there. Does that look good? I'm thinking what I might actually be interested in is having a longer line of green underneath there, or possibly grabbing one of these leaves and sticking it underneath. If I layer these like that, or maybe I'm gonna cut out one of these leaves and see what I can do with it, with this cluster of embellishments. So once again, just kind of playing with things and seeing what looks good. Sometimes I wish I was sort of scrapbooker who planned it all out and then just executed it in advance. But sometimes you plan something and it just doesn't turn out quite as you'd hoped. Anyway, so if I put this dead close to the, just very shortly above there, stick this here. That looks good, and then I feel like a little peak of flower here would be good. But I think all of these flowers are too big for what I'm looking for, so I'm going to grab a smaller brown flower from my collection to go in there. So I'll stick these down, and then before I'm finished this card I will add a little brown flower, and I can show you that once I've dug it out of my collection. So I'll layer this one here, and then this piece. It's going off of the page because it'll need to be trimmed, because I don't want you to see all of it. So I just grab this and layer it here, knowing that I want to have a little flower. And I know roughly the size of the flower I'm going to be putting here, so I'm able to sort of judge quite nicely where this leaf should go, because it's going to be about a flower that's about 3/4 of an inch or an inch. So I'll just trim off the excess of this label. And then I know what journaling I want to put on here. It's a very lovely story. I made some salad, and my daughter grabbed a stool, climbed up onto the kitchen counter in the lodge we were staying at, and found a bowl and made herself a bowl of salad, and then went to the table and sat down and ate it. It was really cute. Just a plain green salad without any dressing, but she was trying to be like mummy and do cooking, and it was really, really sweet. So a lovely memory. So this one, I think I'm definitely going to want to matte these on an orange. So if I just have a quick look, I felt like I had some plain orange somewhere, but I can't place my hands on it now. So I will grab my supplies and I'm going to mat these two pictures on orange, and I'll grab my the flower and put it on here to show you once it's done, and then I'll come back. So here's the flower I grabbed. It's a nice sort of russet brown, and it's got this big it's got a circle in the center where you can put a way of adhering it down, and I'm going to use this red striped brad. So if I just grab this, it's a piercing mat, and line this up where I want it to be, and then pierce all the way through, pop through my brad. Now I have to make sure that the brad doesn't extend over the edge of the photograph when I do this, obviously, otherwise it won't fit in the sleeve, but that looks nice. And then I can just trim off the excess of the flower on the edge. There we go. I'm just going to turn this around slightly so that the brad is at the angle I want. The stripes are at the angle I want. There we go. And now I can just do the little bit of journaling in there to see how my little one grabbed both that. And that's that photograph finished. And so I can put that one outside. And now the other photograph I was working on was this one. So I've matched it in this nice bright striking orange, these two photographs, which really make them pop out of the background. And I want quite a lot of room, so I can stick this sticker here. And then I thought I would use this dark green label as a layering behind there. Now, in these pictures, my two daughters are standing up against rulers, like height measurers, so I could measure their heights. So you can, and I've grabbed this very small wood grain alphabet that I got with a Studio Calico kit when I had the subscription to the Studio Calico kits. And so I'm just in the corner of each of these, I'm just going to put their heights, which is 88 centimeters and 72 centimeters according to these measuring sticks. So I'm going to stick these down, making sure I leave lots of room for the label at the side. So lots of room on this one to tuck things underneath. Now, I'm not sure. I had them in a nice way, so sometimes if I stick things down, I'll just work with them until I'm happy. There we go. I'll just use a little bit of glue on here. Oops, wrong way around. And I'll stick this in here like that, and then I can just stick the sticker down. And this is just a sticker we were given to put in our car, actually, to show that our car should be parked where it was. There we go. Now this looks too long to me, so I'm going to move this down. Looks like it needs to be more tucked than that. There we go, that looks better to me. And now I'm going to put the numbers on. So my eldest in this picture is 88 centimeters. Now some of these little alphabets, it can be tricky just to take out the little leftover bits. Now I'm just going to check. I think, because I haven't used this alphabet before, I think there probably will be 2 C's and 2 M's. So I can write 88 centimeters and 72 centimeters. So I'll grab the C and the M for centimeter. Centimeter. Like that. There we go. And then I can write 72 centimeters for my lily. This is looking a bit plain, so I'm going to be thinking about what I want to add to this as I put on this little these little stickers. So I could probably do with a little heart maybe there, a little red heart in the corner. There we go. 6 meters. Oh, cute. So I will think about how to get a red heart. I'll have a look in my, I think I grabbed this last week as well. I can grab a little red heart from there. Just pop it in the corner. Oh, where's that there? There we go. It still looks just a little bit plain. So I'm going to grab some stickles in this orange colour. I don't think I might have used these before. And just dot a few stickles down. Actually pop down a few around here. Normally I'd do 3, but add a bit of sparkle in here. Add some more this time. There we go. And I might add some over this side as well. There we go. And one up here. So I've added quite a bit of sparkle to this card. Oh, such a little sweet expression that my youngest has there as well. So now that I've got these stickles out, I might end up using them on other cards. But I'm going to grab the board back. Move all this stuff out of the way. Bring back the board and see what's left to do, making sure not to squash any of the glue on here. Right. So we've got this one finished, this one done. These two looking nice. So I need to do some journaling, and that just leaves me with this card here that I can make now. There's quite a few things that I want to mention about this week that hasn't been included in the journaling yet. We had a sauna in our lodge and we made good use of that. We had a whole bunch of activities to do that are listed here. Like we took our daughter roller skating, and we went to pottery painting, which was really fun, a lot more fun than I was expecting, and we went to the spa. So I'm going to be wanting to put a little label on here. So I might just stick... No, this oval label is probably not so good for this week because everything's looking quite... not too... Well, there's that, I suppose. Anyway, I don't like how this oval looks on this card. Is probably a better way of saying that. This oval isn't quite doing what I would like. So I'm going to make this card a journaling card because I feel like I've got quite a bit more I want to write. So now it's deciding what colour I want this to be. So we've got quite a lot of orange, a bit of red, a little bit of green, and there's quite a lot of brown in the pictures and in these cards. So I think I would, if possible, like to make this have a bit of green in it. Maybe green and brown. If possible, have green. So I'm going to see what I've got in my collection of scraps left over. I've got this green, which matches the green of the thing. So I'm just going to put this back because I know that I'm pretty much done now. Now I believe this to be 6 inches. Nope, wrong about that. So I will grab a 6 by 4 inch. And now what I'm going to be looking to do on here is create a journaling card. Now I know that I have a lot of plain grid pattern, like in this pad. If I grab this plain pattern, now this is perfect because this, if you look at this, if it comes up in the camera, this is white and this is cream. So this is a cream grid, and I'm not using a lot of white in the layout. There's more cream in the layout. So this cream is going to be really great. Now, this can be where my journaling goes. I'm going to want to put a title on this journaling card. But first, I'm looking at this and thinking I want probably to make a journaling space, and I want to have it about 6/16 of an inch. So cutting off this much, and then just take off 6/16, which sounds like a really fiddly amount, but when you're using this trimmer, it's really easy to gauge. On this trimmer, each one of these segments is 1/4 of an inch or 4/16 of an inch. So it's just 1.5 of these little segments when I want to take off 6/16. So there we go. And that leaves me, I like having a 3/16 border around the edge of things. It's a nice amount. It shows what's underneath. Now I think I'm going to want these to be curved edges. I'll do this now. And to give this journaling card a bit of interest, I'm going to want to probably add an embellishment. Oops. There we go. So now I've rounded the corners. Now one of the things I might like to do is to add some orange to this. So I'm going to grab my gelatos, grab this nice bright orange, and my water brush. This is my water brush. And so I'm going to want to, I think, looking at the layout, I'm going to want to make this gradiated orange. So make an ombre out of this. So if I just wet up the tip of it and then draw this around the outside, and then I just use my brush to wet this, just very lightly. I'll see if this works out. So there, I've got some pigment onto the page, and now I'm just going to draw this using the water brush. Because what I want to do is make it quite dark orange on this corner, moving to light orange in the center. Now I might have added too much pigment, been a bit impatient, but we'll see how it turns out. I'll just use my hand there. No, see, I think what I've done there is I've added too much pigment in one go and been impatient, and now it looks a bit of streaky and not too great. Now I'm just thinking if there's a way I can fix this. If I just add more on there, which sounds a silly thing to say, but let's see if it works out. Oftentimes with me, I'll make a mistake. I'll do something too quickly, or I'll add too much pigment like I did there, and then it's just, well, how do we correct that? So let's use the water brush to get some pigment on here. There we go. So now I think what needs to happen is I just need to try and blend this in and see if it comes together. Blend this in. No, it's really not working for me. It just looks too messy for me. So just crumple it up, start again. Let's see what else I can go with. So let's grab this pad because I know I've got this. This is a nice wood grain print. Looks quite good. I'll trim it down to the same size, and I will just scratch that, move on if I make a mistake. No, wrong way. Make sure I cut it the right way so that the pattern is going in the right direction. There we go. Pop these to the side. And I want to corner around the corners of this one. Now to make this match the thing, I'm actually going to add some, I'm going to try again with my gelato, and I'm just going to draw it around the edge to make the edge of this card orange, and then use the paintbrush to, oh whoops, gotta flip this over, getting a bit messy now, to bring out the orange. There we go. It's looking a bit harsh on the edge now, but I think if I work it a bit, it should become less harsh on the edges. I can gradate this in, hopefully, although last time I tried to make something less, didn't quite work out. Just work the edge of this now. Try and soften the edges a bit. Particularly these corners. If I just work out. There we go. There we are. Now I definitely need some embellishment in here, and I'm going to be wanting to, if I just remove all the excess ink off this paintbrush, just rub it against my hand to get the last of the pigment off. I'm going to be wanting to really firmly stick this down because the edges have buckled slightly, if you can see that there, from the water and the paint being applied. So I'm going to want to stick this down really firmly. So taking my ATG gun and really running it close as possible to the edge to make sure that it doesn't look too bumpy. There we go. And now stick this down on here. There we go. There we go, and that looks nice and flat. If I just use my finger just round the edge a bit, this looks slightly more distressed, slightly taking off that I think that adds to the distressed look we've got going on here. And in this corner where it's a little bit more distressed than I would ideally like, I'm going to put some sort of embellishment. So this is the sort of place where I'm going to put a stamp. So I'm going to stamp an image in Stays On ink. I just rattle through all my supplies out. Here's my Stays On. So I'm going to stamp one in this. And I can just decide what I want that to be, and I'm looking for something that's sort of thematic. I'm just quickly going through my supplies. Well, here's a globe. Wish you were here. Oh, you mean the world's to me. It's not quite what I'm looking for. So I'll just, and I have other sets of stamps. So let's grab some of these and see if any of them jump out. Now see, there's a nice big, this is an Amy Tangerine stamp set, and there's a nice big camera one. I quite like the idea of putting that in there. Cameras are always good for all sorts of things. Here's a cat themed one for when I'm scrapbooking my cat. Now I don't see anything more appropriate, so I'm just going to go with this nice big camera. So if I grab it, because it can be quite tricky to remove from their backing. Put this on here, and now I just need to grab a piece of, here's a piece of white cardstock. I've made sure it's quite thick because I'm going to be painting onto it. So the thinner the cardstock you stamp onto, the more the washability. Now I'm using the Stays On ink so that when I paint onto this with my gelatos, it won't run. Because if I paint with ordinary ink, just pigment ink, rather than this special non-running ink, it will come out and run a bit. So I'm really putting this down hard, and I'm going to grab my brayer as well, just to put some extra oomph into stamping this. And there we go, lovely. Oh, that's come out really nice. I was a bit worried because there's such a lot of little lines and detail on this stamp, it can be tricky sometimes if you don't press hard enough on a stamp like this to get all the detail, but that's come out nice. The only little bit I'm missing is in the center of this heart, and I'll just colour that in with my pen. There we go. And now I'm going to cut out this. Now I'm going to be painting this, and I think the colour I want to paint this in is red, so that I have most of the colours of the layout on this card. So if I'm leaving a small gap around the outside here. I'll see if I like how that looks. If not, I can always cut it directly onto the line. There we go. Now this looks far too white here, which is why we're definitely going to be painting this on with a nice bit of red. So I'll grab my red gelato. Now looking at where this is on the layout, I could do the title in the matching alphabets. Yep, so if I write our trip on here, if I have it overlapping this edge, might look nice. Let's just go for it and see how this comes out, because I do know that I want there to be a title, and doing it in a matching alphabet would be very useful. Yeah, I think that's going to look good, and it means we've got all of the colours of the layout on this card, which is also something that I like to do. There we go, and a P. And then all the journaling can go on here once I've added the thing. Now I'm not 100% certain about this title. I'm just really not certain that of these tile thickers. With it there, it just doesn't quite look how I want it to. So I'm not 100% certain that I'm gonna finish up having that as the title of this. There's something about these these big tiles that doesn't gel with my particular style. I'm struggling to think what it is. It just doesn't quite look right to me. And there's a lot to be said for that in scrapbooking, for just looking at something and thinking, I'm just not sure that's for me. I'm not sure that's my style. That just doesn't look quite right. And in this instance, I'm not sure why it doesn't look quite right. I'm just aware that it doesn't quite gel with me. What's happening with this title? Just painting this in. Now, do I want to paint in the rest red? Or do I want to paint in the rest cream? Just have red details. Right, let's move this off here and start just dusting this with the red. So just a light coating of red on the brush, and then just whizzing it back and forth. I think I might want to go darker around the edges. So if I just run this around the edge, actually in this case, rather than use the paintbrush, I think I'm just going to use my fingers around the edge to blend it in. There we go. Maybe even a little bit darker in the center and just work that in with my finger. Wherever I've got darker colours, I can just add a bit more directly on and just smudge it with my fingers. There we go. Now, I put that down. I like how it looks. I really don't like how this, if I just paint off the colour again. I just paint the pigment off onto the back of my hand once I finish with my water brush. I'm really not liking how this looks. I'm going to lift these up. They're very sticky, these letters. I'm just going to pop them back down. Stick them. Oh, whoops. That one's not going to be making it back onto the page. There we go. Just stick them down anywhere for the moment. Get them out of the way and then lift this up. This one's very stuck down to the page. I'll just lift that off. Just get the last of that up. Whoops. It's not stuck down yet. So there we go. Now I'm going to go through my box of lettering and find something that matches better. Got this matte print, which I really love, so that's definitely a strong possibility to replace the tiles. I have this wood grain print, that's a nice one. And then I'm in particular looking for this brown felt and then this nice acrylic. So these are the, I'll stick this on. Stick that down the corner. There we go. And this is going to be covered in journaling, obviously. So then, looking at this, so I can put this off there out of the way because I'm down. So, looking at these different ones, I think I prefer one of these browns. I've used this one a lot, so there might not be enough letters left to easily make up. Let's use this one. It's wood grain, and there's a lot of other wood grain on this page in various places. So let's grab a capital O, very nice big O. I'm just sort of lining this up so it's all similar height from the top of the page. And then a nice big T. I'm going to offset this one a bit. And this one underneath. There we go. And a P. And now I can do all the journaling in here. I think if looking at this, I could take everything down so that this hour was in line with here. And maybe that would look better. Let's just move this up. So if I just move that there, so that just the T is over the border between the journaling card and the background. It's matte. There we go. There we go. Oh, well, that looks good actually, just moving it up quite a bit. If I move the hour down, let's try that. Because I can always put it back. These letters are quite adhesive, so I don't think they'll run out of sticky even if I fiddle with them a bit. There we go. Do I think that looks good? Yes, I do. I like how that looks. This U just looks a little bit squint to me. There we go. Nice. And so, if I bring back this, all that's left to do now is the journaling, I think. There we go. And I'm just looking to see if there's anywhere else where I want to put a little bit of bling, but I've got some bling on this one and on this one. This is with stickles and this is with little gemstones. Got a tiny bit there. And this is where I'm going to do all the journaling for the trip, about all the different things. Oh, and I forgot to do the journaling on this card. Okay, so scratch that. I have to finish up this card. So I will grab this cream grid print that I used, but ended up having to discard because I sort of made a mess. I'll grab 3/4. I'll give it a banner and to make it match the banner end on the other piece of journaling here. Just stick that there. And then I might grab one of these labels to stick in behind. Yeah, that looks nice. So let's just stick these down. And then I'm probably going to use some of the orange stickles as well. Stick that down. Just to give it a bit of shiny on there. A little bit of detail. There we go. And if I just pop a few dots of stickles on here. There we go. That'll make it look nice and shiny. A little bit of sparkle on this card because I want to journal on this card about how my very brave 2-year-old climbed all the way up to the top and then wasn't quite brave enough to go down the slide. So I had to go up there and rescue her. Although in the end I couldn't climb back down the ladder with her because my legs weren't strong enough because I still have some mobility issues because of my ongoing pelvis problems. So in the end I just had to very carefully encourage her to go down the slide. So she got down that slide in the end with a bit of encouragement from Mummy. Right, so that is where I'm going to call this week done, except for the journaling, but other than journaling, that is this week finished. Hey bunnies, that's all for this video. Remember to enter the competition by liking my Facebook page. Or you can check out my website, no, that's too many W's, welshbunnies.com. Or you can look me up on Twitter or check out some of my earlier videos. Thanks.